Hello, everyone. Thank you for your interest in my presentation. So I'm here to share with you one of two parts that I presented at the Chief Student Services Officers Conference. These are all the student service leaders across the California Community College system, and many of them are looking to take the next step to be a president sometime in the future. And so one part of it was sharing my personal story, and then the second part of it was sharing some lessons learned from my personal story about things that you could do now to help better prepare yourself for a presidency. And so I share with them these 5 takeaways that you should see here. And I'm not going to read them out. You could read them in front of you, but I'm going to take you through them one by one. And again, this is, of course, an abbreviated presentation. The one in the room was definitely much more in depth, but this should give you a sense of things. And the first one was the power of mentorship. And for me, I had a few individuals in my career, all the way from my time as a student through my career in community colleges and K-12 that really mentored me. I told stories of Nancy Golden, who was the chief education officer at the peak of her career in the state of Oregon, but was a mentor of mine when we worked together in K-12 at Springfield Public Schools. And Kindred Murillo, who was my predecessor at Lake Tahoe Community College as a president, and also a great mentor to me. But basically, as a leader, you need to find mentors. So what makes a good mentor? Someone who's really invested in you first and foremost, right? They want to see you do good. As such, they're willing to support you, empower you to do things. If they're your supervisor, empower you to take on key projects. They'll let you actually make a mistake and learn from it and dig yourself out of the mistake. And then finally, I think it's important, somebody that gives you the due credit when you have a success and a win, and that kind of helps you get to the next level, helps people start seeing you as a leader. So moving on, second one was plug in. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's kind of plug in on the statewide level, right? Or the national level, but get hooked into what's happening in community colleges, what's happening in higher education. I did that by serving on the Association of Chief Business Officials Board. So those were CBOs throughout the California Community College system. I also served on the Chancellor's Advisory Fiscal Work Group to better understand statewide funding issues and help advise on those. But these were things that I did that gave me a statewide look. And that's something that you need as a community college president and as a leader, and also gives you exposure. And so you'll see here I mentioned as student services officers, you may want to consider getting involved with your CSSO organization on the board or planning the conference or helping inform and advise policy. The third one, be a thought leader, right? I always find it interesting that some folks wait till they're a president to decide, hey, I'm going to start sharing my opinions on LinkedIn or Twitter or start publishing materials. And I say, if you want to be a president, start that now. I personally try and do that a lot through my Twitter page. You'll see that here on the slide. Of course, that's how you found me. At the top here, something I'm very proud of is this article, this guest column I wrote for Forbes on our Promise program. But again, putting information out about what's happening in the space, but then also reading what's coming out from the Aspen Institute, what's Achieving the Dream talking about, what's the Chancellor's Office putting out, what's the Sacramento Bee working on, what's the Chronicle of Higher Ed reporting on, right? All these different things to kind of, one, gather information, but then also share information. I shared an example of a colleague of mine here, Dr. Angelica Garcia, who is a chief student service officer. And I was kind of sharing with them, she's very active on LinkedIn, shares a lot of updates, a lot of thought leadership. So again, don't wait till you're a president to be a thought leader. Be a thought leader first so you could become a president. The next one, and this one I just cannot stress enough, take good care of the home front. I think a lot of people that are senior leaders, they want to go on and be a president. So they're very focused. They're going to all these conferences. They're doing all this statewide work because they're trying to get visible. But then what happens is they're not doing good work at home, right? And then that time comes where you're a finalist for a job, and all of a sudden the board or the college district that's hiring you wants to do a site visit or call references, and the folks you've been working with back on your college don't have a lot of great things to say about you because you've been out too far. So make sure, first and foremost, be a great leader in the job you're in, whatever job that is. I talked about vice president here because that's the group I was speaking to, but in whatever job you're in, be a great leader, take that stuff, take your work to the next level, and demonstrate that you know how to do the job at your level, and success will find you from there. And then my final one was find a way to fuel yourself. These are very draining jobs. You are called upon to be kind of the emotional leader of the college. Sometimes you're cheerleading for student success. Sometimes you're helping lead courageously through challenges. And I definitely subscribe to Daniel Goleman's work on emotional intelligence and out of the Primal leadership book, that the leader's energy is infectious. And if you're demonstrating and sharing hope and optimism, the campus will feel that. If you're showing empathy for your staff and students, the campus will feel that. So you need to put a lot of energy out as a leader. And so what you need to do is find ways to gather your energy. And for me, first and foremost there in the center is, doing things with my kids, making sure I find time to spend time with them. This is us going rock climbing at our local rock climbing gym in Lake Tahoe. That definitely really fuels me with a lot of sense of purpose, but also things on my own. On the right-hand side there, you see a picture of me skiing. That is my most beloved activity, my most beloved single activity that I'm able to do by myself. And great living in Lake Tahoe. We've had an epic ski season. And so that's definitely something that I find very relaxing, rewarding, and gives me some time to think. And on the left there, that was actually the morning before the presentation. And I took that picture because I wanted to make the point to the folks in the room is even when you're traveling for work and you're busy and, I haven't had a free weekend in the month of March, basically, I haven't had a free weekend. Take an hour wherever you're at and go do something that fuels you. And for me, it was going for a quick run by the beach, and I felt refreshed, and it gave me a chance to get my thoughts together. And as a leader, a lot of times your best work is thinking. It's not always doing. It's about thinking and being strategic. So there you have it. These are 5 takeaways that I try to provide of things that you should be thinking about if you want to make it to the next level as a president or even a senior academic leader in higher education, and not just community college, in any of the higher education system. So thanks for putting in your inquiry. Let's stay connected via Twitter. You could also reach out to me on LinkedIn and keep the dialogue going. And that is that. I may do another one of these that's more my personal story. So if you're interested in that, please shoot me a note and I'll let you know that as well. But I hope you found this helpful as you think about your own career advancement.